Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos Fathomless, a D&D podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and joining me as always are Eddie, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Mitch, playing Neris, Joe, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Jake, playing the Fishman, and Laura, playing 𝗧. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the crew of the Polaris selected a mission that would see them seeking out a lost underwater temple. So, Fishman. As you rest, you feel yourself descending into a dream. You're floating in an endless ocean. Initially alone, though you soon find yourself in the company of a number of others, much like yourself, and dressed in near identical armor. All of you are armed and swimming in formation, with you leading the charge. You take up positions, standing your ground, waiting until there's a disturbance in the water. A creature of unfathomable size slowly approaching, lashing out at the water around it as it almost charges towards you. As it does so, strange rifts begin to appear in the waters around you, and the water begins to rush through these rifts. The beast takes a diving motion, momentarily dropping out of line of sight, before emerging in the center of your battalion. In the impact, you lose consciousness, though as you do, you see the creature moving through one of the rifts in the distance. And in the morning, you wake.
He would probably say something along the lines of, again, as he'll sort of just lay back down, grab his book, and do some scribbles.
So, day one on the water. So there's a light wind, but there is a lot of rain, a lot of clouds, and it is stormy.
On this beautiful fresh morning, any of you who are currently on the deck would see 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Now, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is soaked to the bone, has clearly been out on deck for a while, and any of you who are on deck can see him in a hustle and bustle of directing and giving guidance and orders to different junior and general crew members as they try and navigate the storm. And you would see that 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is quite active and agile, and as opposed to his, stormy for him disposition of the past day, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 seems to be, despite being sodding wet in the middle of a storm, in quite cheery spirits.
Captain 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, can I ask, do you not suffer from pneumonia? You seem to be in good spirits despite the heavy weather.
𝗧 will just say, not really moving, just sort of like inclining their head slightly as they're just watching everyone run back and forth.
I think you'll find that I was well overdue a bath.
I didn't want to say anything. I'm just kidding. This is quite an extreme way to get a bath, though. Very impressive.
I was also kidding, 𝗧. It's, much as it seems to be a bit of a blight for sailing, The storms actually provide quite good wind and cover, as long as the waves don't get too tall. I'm more so enjoying the start of a new adventure. Are you excited? This will be your first mission as official crew.
I am very curious. Is there anything you require me to do in preparation?
Not necessarily. Come to the briefings, but it's mandatory. More than anything, I guess I can give you a piece of advice.
I would be very interested to see what your piece of advice would be, Mr. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
He reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a notebook that is very small for Rue. It is not a regular sized notebook for Rue in Rue's hands, but is a regular sized notebook in 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧's hands. I like to keep notes of any of the missions I do. Helps reflect on both the good and the bad. If you would like to learn more about not even just sailing, but about yourself and about how you're feeling about it all, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 reaches up and offers this tiny little notebook. This is a fresh one. I haven't written anything in it yet. I like to keep some spares on me because some of them go into the drink. You know how it is. We're on a boat.
You would like me to write reports or personal reflections?
I would like that if that is something you would like to do, you do that.
I would very much like to do that. That was a usual part of when I was listening to patients and making observations. This will be very useful.
Rue's very large, long claws very carefully pick up this little notebook from 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Carefully sort of looks over it and then just nods.
I will begin right now. Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. I hope you enjoy your shower. Of course, should you develop pneumonia in any way, please come and see me. I promise I won't require any amputation unless you get a little bit too cold. Have a wonderful day.
And Rue reaches into their little pouch and hands 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 a slice of an apple.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 kind of looks at it. Thanks, Rue. And he takes a bite into it and goes about his everything.
For the most part, in weird and wacky weather such as what we're experiencing, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is, as usual, confined to his study in varying stages of either writing notes, looking at his requisition orders that he's got, or reading a little bit more in depth into any of the books that he's either read previously or he's recently acquired. 𝗖𝗧 will close the book that he's reading. He's not really sure too much about what's happening in this book, but it seems to be some form of like a historical, almost like a biography in a way, but it's written by like a really big supporter of someone, something that happened in a land far away, about just a real anxiety-riddled person who somehow managed to ascend to some form of godhood, and he'll close that and put it off to the side. And now that we're a little bit more out to sea, he's going to grab a package that he purchased, put under his arm, and make his way over to where Alton and Kara are hard at work.
The chest of preserving.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Alton will be like, "Oh, 𝗖𝗧𝗧, what have you got there?"
I have found an item that I believe would be beneficial to the kitchen as a whole, and 𝗖𝗧𝗧 will present this item and kind of go through a bit of a demonstration on how it works. Shows that it's like a bag of holding by putting something in it and then pulling it out like a magic trick and be like, yes, but imagine that, but with meat.
Kara would have come over from where she was kneading dough, wiped her hands, and would watch the demonstration, but she also would greet 𝗖𝗧𝗧 in sign. And Alton, you're picking up bits and pieces of sign. You can tell that Kara has a sign name for 𝗖𝗧𝗧 and also has a sign name for yourself. And for the first time, you notice that one of the signed words is the same in both of your names.
Alton kind of just makes a note of that for the next time. He is going to study this sign language. Also, during this interaction, Alton has been like he opens the door like very suspiciously, and he very much like does not allow Neris in, and is just like watching him. Oh, I see. Yes, this will be very useful. We can always do with more storage and, keeping everything safe to eat. Thank you. And then with great reluctance, you can come in and we'll find a spot for it.
When the door is open, Kara has kind of stepped back from the door now and is leaning against one of the benches with her arms crossed. And she's got this soft sort of smile, but you can see this amusement behind her eyes. And when Neris is allowed in, her furry little eyebrows raise very high.
And Neris will walk in. So, unfortunately, we were on a bit of a tight schedule when we were leaving, so I was not able to acquire too much to be able to test this item out. However, if it is of some benefit, I will gesture to the bag that he's sort of got, that he's carrying, and it does contain a little bit of meat. It's like just 10 pounds of meat.
Good to have something different. Looks like a nice cut of meat. And, we don't have our resident little fish catcher shark man around anymore, so...
Well, I just came to drop this off. I'm not sure how much is required for a meal, but if that is enough, then I hope it works, and it will give the crew something else to focus on.
Actually, Kara, could you finish the little setup with this just for a moment? I need a word.
Kara, from where she's still leaning against the bench with her arms crossed, looks between the two of you, amused again. And she nods slowly, and then she signs thank you to Neris and wanders off, probably into the storeroom to take some inventory and gather some spices and supplies for whatever's on the lunch menu.
Neris, I need to ask you about what's been happening. Tibble told me that I have been pardoned, that that's what happened in the meeting, that I'm not being deemed as a criminal anymore. That's correct, right?
That is what was said in the meeting, yes.
Right. Well, that is, no, that's actually, that is very bad news. Actually, when I think about it, do you know exactly why this has happened? Who has done this, and what do they want from me?
There are not many people who have the ability to ask the right questions at the right times. And I think that is the right question. I'm not entirely sure of the answer, and I am trying to find that out myself. What I am able to ascertain is that the information we have, the heads of the Hydra appear to have reached out to General Peacebringer and the group they represent. And it appears to, at least from what we have been told, appears to have been enough to pardon you.
Why would they do that? Are they trying to get involved in the whole conflict in Tovamar? Or is this all about me somehow? I mean, that would be ridiculous if it was, but pretty fucking weird of it to happen in the first place. Okay, right. So you don't know too much about what's happened then?
I'm attempting to I think the issue that we have is that if we are to believe everything we have been told to believe,
Mm.
then the heads of the Hydra have done both yourself and the Polaris a great service. I know you have not been working for the heads of the Hydra for very long,
Mm.
but they are a very powerful organization, and they did not get there by doing favors without some form of value in return.
Exactly. That's how power works. It doesn't go, you don't become powerful by giving out charity. This is not good.
I did ask if there was something that we needed to do. They did specify that there will be a favor that is done in return when we finish our current mission. We may need to wait and find out.
Right. Well, if it helps ease your mind, I will try to make sure it doesn't affect the rest of the crew.
That is very kind of you, but I'm not entirely sure you will have a choice.
Can I roll insight on Yaris?
Yeah, Alton, roll me an insight check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alton is pretty much inciting on like how's Neris taking this whole situation? What does he feel about Alton? And like did he believe Alton when Alton said that thing before? May or may not be the truth. And that I rolled a dirty 20 on insight.
Is there anything that Neris can roll to hide his emotions?
Deception.
Or is that deception?
Deception.
Okay. So Neris is, at the best of times, hard to read. He does try with the words that he uses to be very, sort of playing both sides, if you will, where he's trying to stay as neutral and as intelligence-driven instead of emotions as possible. And this time appears to be no different.
Yeah.
He is choosing his words very carefully. He does appear to be mildly miffed about the situation, which for Neris means that he's basically exploding. But other than that, you can't really tell too much. He is, when Neris talks normally and he's having a general conversation, he is observing the room and looking at everything. You have noticed during this conversation, though, whenever Alton is talking, Neris is looking him dead in the eyes.
Okay. Right. Well, thanks for your help in this situation. I mean, obviously well, I guess I'm not really your issue, but it does affect the ship. So, like I said before, I'll try to see if I can get it to not affect the ship.
If I may, I don't normally like to interfere in other people's lives or make choices for them.
Interesting. Making an exception. What have you got?
When you joined the Polaris, sure, the captain had some wonderful words for you, but when you joined, you're not joining a crew, you're joining family.
Mm.
It's very inspiring. But it is not incorrect. When you joined this ship, you became part of the Polaris. Your problems are the Polaris's problems, in the same way that everything that comes with the captain comes with all of us. We are, as corny as it may seem, we are indeed a family. And unfortunately, if you run away from families, they will just run after you. I need you to understand that, for better or worse, the crew of the Polaris is behind you.
I see.
And besides, I would have no one to talk to if you left, so I'd very much need you to stay so that myself and Toad can both have some form of social interaction without the need to continue that later on when we both feel like we want to go and have our own time.
Well, happy to provide the service. I'll try not to leave then. I don't exactly want to get chased down. Because, well, yeah, just kind of like cocks his head to the side, trying to make sense of this conversation. Yeah, family is very loaded term. I always was rather curious about what exactly Tibble was getting into, calling us that. Just has lots of ties that are not exactly always positive.
It's a different sort of family. I don't know anything about your original family. When I joined the Polaris, my family along behind me as well. This is my new family. Polaris is my new home. This is the new family.
Okay, you were not threatening me, or at least maybe I just misunderstood the threat. You're going to have to forgive me. Not great at reading people. Maybe you've gathered that by now. I'm really only good at medicine. But yes, I'll have. Thank you for your assistance. And yes, I too would miss talking to you and your good friend Toad if I were to go running away from everything.
Well, do let me know if you have any thoughts about anything.
All right, better get out to the kitchen. Thank you for the cold box.
Just very quickly, when Alton gets back to the kitchen, as Alton walks in, she signs something to that. It's all words that you would know by now, which is, what was that? And she emphasizes that, like she signs it very aggressively, but she is grinning.
What's that? What's up with you today?
She laughs, and you see her sign something. You would recognize the sign for kitchen. So you would see the sign that you think might be 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧's name, and then something in kitchen. And like she just repeats that twice and then gets back to work. And she's just quietly laughing to herself.
Alton just kind of rolls his eyes at this and then like throws up his hands like kind of jokingly. But then probably his mood downs a little bit and he's like, well, with powerful people, you've got to be nice to them, especially when you're in a bad situation.
She kind of softens a little bit at that, and she puts down what she's working on, and she walks up to you and takes one of your hands and she gives it a squeeze. And then she takes her hands back and she spells out and then does the sign for safe. And she points to the kitchen, signs the word for kitchen, points to herself, signs what you recognize to be her name, and points around her and then signs safe again.
Is there anything else that folks do in the morning?
Fishman will probably get up later, closer to midday.
Alright, so is there anything in particular Fishman does once he gets up, or...?
He gets up and notices the weather.
Yeah.
Because he's probably going to, first things first, he's going to go up to the crow's nest.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. In fact, something I forgot before, I actually need everyone to roll me a skill check. I will allow you to pitch me what check you want to roll to navigate the storm.
Fishman's essentially hopefully going to yell out to 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧
Yep.
from up on the crow's nest, who can then move that over to the captain. He's going to be analysing the storm, the heck out of it.
Okay. That sounds like...
Tibble rolled a nat 1,
Oh.
just so we're aware. So there's not really... Could I argue that he's using his athletics to steer the ship?
Yeah.
Because he has advantage on those.
So what is it you're trying to do again, Fishman?
Find any form of landmark, feel the direction of the wind. I know he's just gotten up, but he would have charted these waters.
Yeah.
He would have known where we're going.
So this probably sounds like a survival check to me. So Tibble,
Alright.
what did your total end up as?
He got a 21.
21. Okay. Fishman?
24.
24.
So as the storm sort of becomes a little bit worse, 𝗖𝗧𝗦𝗧 is going to take the role that he normally takes, which is sort of just a general observer of the ship. He's been on ships for a very long time, so he's going to be sort of looking at everyone doing their jobs like as thoroughly as possible, trying to like see if they're if the ropes that they're tying are tight enough, if there's enough grip on the deck, if there's a job that needs doing that people aren't doing properly. Because he's done a lot of these jobs before, so he's going to look for any weaknesses and like try and look very thoroughly on who's not pulling their weight, essentially,
Okay.
and go and help them or direct someone to help them.
Okay, so this would probably be then an insight check, I think.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay.
I mean, like for Alison, would it just be a medicine check to make sure like everyone is okay in the storm? Because he's not going to be doing any like
Yeah.
sailing things. He doesn't know much about sailing.
Mm. Yeah, I'll allow it.
I don't know how much it would
Oh, well.
impact anything.
Yeah, I might raise the DC a
Yeah,
bit because it's a
okay.
little less direct, but I'll
Yeah.
allow a medicine check.
Okay. Ooh, I didn't roll well. That's a 13.
Okay. And finally, Rue.
Brew has been instructed to chillax. Brew has, however, come back up on board to just observe, I suppose. If they see anything that requires assistance, they will go and help because they're very tall and very strong. Again, they would be looking out towards to see, is it, does that person look like they're being stressed, or are they like, straining with that? But again, that's the role that's being fulfilled by other people.
Yeah.
So I suppose Rue would just be looking.
Yeah, I think this sounds like another...
Again, he
Yeah,
doesn't have a
another-
job, so
Again, I think this sounds
he's just a
like
passenger.
an insight.
All right, then we'll see how that goes. That is so 15.
15. Okay. So the majority of you were able to roll a successful result, which means that you are able to navigate the storm.
Tibble is very excited and happy during this entire, like obviously everyone's working very hard and we're trying to navigate through a storm, and he's cheering and laughing and having a very fun time of it while this is all happening.
Probably around about midday. Fishman, you have a familiar kind of impending sense of doom. As if something you have experienced in a past life is about to recur.
So, yeah, obviously he's quite familiar with this feeling by the sounds of it, or he's got that kind of sense of being
Yeah.
before. If he can, he might. Well, I guess in the moment he might be a bit shocked. Take a couple steps back. Completely stop his duty whatsoever. And then he might, after a moment, yell down to 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 and just ask him to kind of take the responsibility.
Yeah.
And then he might just sit down with his legs crossed. And this isn't something he usually does at this time, but he'll take some chalk out from his bag and he'll draw a circle around him real quick. Put his hands together and kind of let any kind of signs take his arms.
Okay.
Any kind of force take his arms.
Because you're in tune with this at this moment, roll me a perception check.
Yeah, that's a 12.
Okay. So you find yourself drawn from your circle, stand up, and make your way at the back of the ship. You walk past Tibble at the helm, and Tibble, you see Fishman walk past you almost as if he is a man possessed. As he goes...
Is this something Tibble has witnessed before?
No. And you see him look off the back of the boat.
He follows after Fishman.
It almost seems as if Fishman is in some sort of magical trance. And by the point that you get someone to take over the wheel and you go towards him, he has come still to a point and just looking off the edge of the ship. But Fishman, you find the trance ends. And when it ends, you see what you were drawn to. This dark patch in the water, probably about 200 feet behind the ship at this point, maybe a little more.
Tibble just rolled an
Fishman.
18 perception,
Yeah.
so he kind of bounds over, and through the storm he's yelling like, "Fishman, what are you doing? What's happening? Are you okay?" And then like halfway through he's like, what on all the seas is that?"
And the two of you watch as this massive turtle-like creature with the face of an almost turtle-dragon hybrid leaps out of the surface of the water behind your ship. Fishman, you recognize this as the creature from your dream, and you see this massive, must be a quarter of a kilometer long from snout to the tip of its tail, and it is behind your ship and closing in.
So Fishman's not in a trancing, right?
No.
Hell yeah. What weapons do we have on the back of the boat? Do we have any cannons? Do we have any chase cannons or ballistae?
On the back, no. You have
Yeah, thought so.
You have cannons along the side, and you have a ballista at the front. You could probably, with the help of a couple of people, or very slowly with one person, move the ballista to the back of the ship, but it is currently at the front of the ship.
At the front of the ship?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. Fishman's going to like turn around as if to bolt to the front of the ship, but I believe that's where Tibble is, right behind him.
Tibble,
I mean.
yeah. Yeah,
so
Tibble's
he's
with
like
you.
gonna go sprint, not knowing that Tibble is there. Almost trip over him, and be like, Captain, this is bad. We need to either fight or run, and I want to fight.
Jiminy Christmas. All right, Tibble, does it seem like this creature is too much for us to be able to fight? My instincts say yes, but I don't know if Tibble's instincts.
Yeah, Tibble would be of the same thoughts as you there. This is a lot. This is massive. This is probably beyond you at this point.
Fishman, it's the size of an island.
And it's important to me. I've seen this before. Fishman, if you can, shoot at it, please.
Okay, what are you shooting at it with? Your harpoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you hooking on the harpoon like chain?
No, sorry,
or
not
just,
a
just a
harpoon.
bolt?
Sorry, just a bolt. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, roll to hit.
23.
23. So you hit it. Like the bolt hits and pierces one of the flippers. And roll for damage, please.
That's a 6.
A 6. Okay, so it takes 6 damage, but it barely seems to take, like, notice of that damage.
Gonna turn back to Tibble and go, it's real. So what will you do? And he's going to wait, like, 3 seconds max.
Fishman, we're leaving. And Tibble calls around. All hands on deck. We need to outrun this thing fast.
Fishman say to Tibble, please pardon me. As he runs back to the back of the ship, he's going to attempt to speak with animals. He's not entirely sure if this is the most appropriate time. He doesn't know what this is. And Fishman is going to say something along the lines of, what are you? Why are you here? And why do I know?
So the problem is this isn't a beast.
Cool. He sees no response, and then he repeats it in Draconic. He repeats it in Elvish. He repeats it in Primordial.
You repeat it in Draconic.
What are you? Why are you here? And why do I know?
I am 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. I have brain. You are my bane. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week. So, Janice. It's been several days since you were captured by the Sin Seekers and kept on their ship. From what you've gathered, while there are windows, they don't seem to reflect the reality of outside, instead providing some sort of illusory view. Upon arrival, you were stripped of your arms and armor. Initially, you weren't allowed much freedom on the ship, though that has changed gradually over the past few days. There are still restrictions on where you can go, but you are no longer under constant surveillance. With this freedom, you have discovered that the ship is crewed by a number of monstrous creatures that seem to have little to no autonomy. The only truly living beings appear to be the 5 Sin Seekers themselves, and you. Every now and then, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 will come to speak to you, often talking about your potential and your importance to the plans that he and the boss have ahead. trying to sway you into aiding the Sin Seekers. Today is different, though. Rather than coming to you, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 has sent Aloysius, a charming human man with short, slick black hair, who you usually see wearing fine clothes as if he came from nobility, to bring you to the Cambion captain. You are brought out to the main deck of the ship, where all 5 Sin Seekers are now present. 𝗏𝗏, the hulking ogre who grappled you in chains when you were captured, appears to be armed. His chains wrapped around his arms, the ends of them slinking down to the deck. And 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 speaks. My old friend, have you had enough time now to reconsider my proposition?
All the time in the world and yet no time at all.
And your answer?
As I've said, it's not really a good way to make friends to kidnap them. I'm not certain that I would be a good fit aboard this ship. I have a good one of my own.
I had wished it need not come to this. But it seems to me you have forgotten who you are. And I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, okay. I'm great at those. Let's see how that goes. Cool. It's an 11, so it's a 10.
So you are magically charmed, during which time you obey the Cambion's spoken commands. So anything that will lead to certain death, you will not obey. But anything else, you feel compelled to obey.
So he was sort of like just grinning, like trying to play off this stuff, and then he just kind of just like his entire physicality shifts and like just tenses as that takes root, I suppose, in his brain.
Allow 𝗏𝗏 to remind you. Defend yourself as best you can. We don't want you dying on us. And I need you to roll initiative for me, please, as 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 throws your glaive at your feet.
Okay, cool. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of that. That's hilarious. Okay, I rolled a natural 20.
So did I.
Oh my gosh, this bodes well. So for a total of 21.
Okay, my total is 19. 𝗏𝗏 is a big hulking brute. He doesn't have the greatest of dexterities. Wow. Okay.
That's amazing. Okay. Alright, so Janice like turns to look at 𝗏𝗏 as he's commanded, and then looks down at the glaive, and I'm going to pick it up. And then he's going to that's an interaction, object interaction.
Yes.
He is going to then turn another like full quarter step fully to face 𝗏𝗏, and he's going to first off bonus action rage. So immediately, if the skies around us don't reflect where we are, it's not really seen, but like even inside of this space of wherever we are, the like a storm begins to brew, and like lightning begins to crackle around him. He sort of hunches down a bit, brandishing the glaive, and then I'm gonna go charge at him, I guess. Is what I'm gonna do. Cool. And I guess I roll with advantage because it was about 20. So first hit is a cool. So a 27 to hit.
27 certainly hits.
Is the first hit. And so that is so 10 points of damage altogether.
All right.
And then second attack is, hang on, 21 to hit.
21 will also hit.
Also hit, cool. And that is 10, excellent. So 15 points of total damage. for the second attack.
Cool.
So Wyvern Glaive, when Janus fights with this, because he didn't use it much before he got yeeted, he kind of holds it in one hand and just like one hit that way, one hit the other way, like just twirls it around with like the strength of his upper arm to use to drive that home, and that's what he does on his turn, I guess.
All right.
Again, very blank, very just like militaristic, I suppose.
Okay, so Rort is going to kind of turn back. He's going to rage himself as the ogre lets out a roar. And raises up his arm and smashes his chain down upon you. So this is a chain smash attack. And that is a 13 to hit. I rolled poorly.
It does miss, yeah.
Yeah.
So Janus kind of manages to sort of, if it's with the chains, like manages to bash out of the way with like the butt end of the glaive. But yeah. He's only got one attack?
When he uses his chain smash, yes.
Okay, cool. So Janus just kind of like works sort of like a sharp tooth to the grin, like, and then it's like, nice try. And then he's going to hit again. So just regular attack this time. So first hit should do it. It's a natural 17, so plus 8. Yep. So 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. He is raging, so that is halved to 5.
Absolutely. And this one's just a 17.
17 still hits.
Still hits. We're barbarians. We don't have great AC. We just take all the hits. Okay, that's okay. That's 6 points of damage.
Halved to 3.
Yeah, and then I forgot to do this the first time, but like that's fine. The storm has been building, so and he sort of like says something in deep speech, which is his god's language, and a crackle of lightning runs down through the glaive from the gathering storm, as like the little sparks have been sparking off him as he's raging. And as he's fought before, Janus isn't like super angry when he's raging. He just laughs quite. He's enjoying this, and the lightning from his storm aura will lance towards him. That is a dex save of 15, DC 15.
All right. That's 17 total.
Okay, so he makes it. That's all right. It's only one d8, so that's halved. So okay, so 10 points damage, half to 5.
All right.
That is.
All right.
Come on, show me what you've got. See if you can weather the storm. Otherwise, I'll have to break you.
Oof. Rort roars in your face as he does a reckless attack. Or uses his reckless feature to do 2 reckless attacks.
Alrighty.
So when he uses his multi-attack, he does his chain sweep and 2 fist attacks. So the chain sweep is, I need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
I'm great at those. Let's go. Nope, that's a 9.
Alright, so that is 10 points of bludgeoning damage you take, and you are knocked prone.
And then that's halved?
Yes, because of his bludgeoning damage.
Okay, so 5.
And then 2 fist attacks. 19.
Yep, that hits.
And the second one is a 24.
That also hits, absolutely.
Alright, so the first attack, 10 points of bludgeoning damage, halved to 5.
Halved to 5, yep.
And the second, 11 points bludgeoning damage, also halved to 5.
Yes, that's right. Excellent.
Alright.
also, you do get to make a save against the Fiendish Charm.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, no. That was a wisdom saving throw, wasn't it? That's a 1.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a total of 1. Well.
Also, before you act on your turn, in between rounds, essentially, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 speaks out. Go on, Janus. Don't hold back. Let us see that new gift of yours.
Oh, okay. All right. So reeling back from these the 3 basically just like because he gets swept onto his back, and then just wailed on these 2 punches. He struggles a bit because he wants to get up. He's panting now. And again, the big wide sharp teeth, and he sort of just with the knuckles of his right hand just sort of wipes off a bit of blood that's starting to trickle down. Good one. All right then, let's see what you can really do. And I am going to transform, I suppose, then, as asked very nicely. Kind of using, he kind of sort of puts his hands out and sort of digs his fingers into the floorboards. It's these long sort of webbed claw fingers crack out of his body, and sort of uses that momentum to get up. And as he does that, more shifting of bones and cracking of skin, as he turns into his hybrid form, and that long snout sort of stretches out. He just grins. All right, let's try you on for size this way. And I'm just gonna bite him to begin with.
Okay. You do have advantage because you used reckless.
Yes, that's right. Cool. Awesome. That's much better. So 26 to hit.
26 will certainly hit.
So I believe that's 2d10. So that's 17 points of damage.
So
piercing damage. So
8.
Halved. Yep. As he just uses the force of getting up to just surge onto him. And because I get 2 attacks, so yeah, another bite, I guess, is that attack. He's still holding the glaive, but he's just kind of using that to sort of steady himself. And then another big horrible bite, lashing out with his big horrible teeth. That's a 17 to hit.
17 hits.
17 also hits. Okay, so 2d10. So that's 10 and 5, so 15 plus 4. 19 points of piercing damage. So
okay, so 9 points.
After 9, yes.
Rort is looking a little shaky.
But the storm just keeps rolling around, and I was just like, excellent, now do another.
I'm going to see if he gets his chain smash back. He does not. So instead, he's just going to do same as he did last round. So chain sweep. So I'll need you to roll me a dex saving throw.
I'm sure I'm even more gamely. Oh my god, no, it happened again. I rolled a 2, which is reduced to a 1 again.
It's because it's a reasonably high but not impossible saving throw for you to make. But you're just rolling terribly. So I'm just
a big barbarian.
Yeah.
It's difficult. He does have ligament damage, which just shudders for a moment.
So you take again 10 half to 5 bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
And are knocked prone. And Rort is going to pound 2 fists into you. This time not recklessly, because I realized my mistake last time. You're prone. He already gets advantage.
Yes, true.
So the first one is 16 to hit.
That does hit, yep.
Okay, and the second one is a natural 20.
Oof. Okay. Well, that definitely hits.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's start with the regular attack. So that is 4, 5. So 11 points, half to 5.
Half to 5, yep.
And I rolled max on the dice as well.
Oh, wow.
So 22 half to 11 points of bludgeoning damage on the second strike.
Excellent. Yeah, no, he catches Janus full on and just kind of tries to move out of the way, but again, it's just too slow. each which way he manages to catch him. And he just like cackles, spits out more blood as like both his blood and Rourke's, I suppose, just splatters across the floor. And then I'm going to use half my movement to leap up.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still raiding. Okay, that was good. This is fun. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. And I'm gonna bite again, or attempt to.
All right.
And again, like this is like I imagine Janus is sort of like these hybrid forms like with a tiger shark or like a great white, so it's very big and just like that force of like just slamming into him is that same sort of big jaw attacks. Okay, so first roll will hit. It's natural 16, so plus 8. So that will hit. 11 plus 4. So 15 points. So half to 7.
7. Yes.
Yes. Cool. For the first attack, and just like this is just like he's just getting, I suppose, more savage, I suppose, as this goes along. So again, it's biting, so they're just trying to grab on and then pull out like sharks. That's only a 13 to hit.
That is his armor class exactly, so it does hit.
Oh, excellent! This is we're being matched pretty well. So.
Yeah.
So 14, half to 7.
Okay.
Again, piercing damage.
All right.
And then he kind of just like continues to like just do that like same kind of just like laugh like, okay, well, this is good, this is fun, but I think it'll be over for you very soon, so you better keep fighting. And he's going to, I guess, with his bonus action, he's going to again speak deep speech and the command word for as he finally stops using his glaive to sort of counterbalance himself and brings that forward, and that's going to it like transforms into a bolt of lightning, I suppose. So preparing that for the next round. Yes.
All right.
Of the Wave Rider glaive.
Let's see if Rort gets his chain smash back. That is a 5, so no. I have to roll exactly a 6 on the d6, so...
Best of luck.
Yeah. That's okay. I can still do a good amount of damage with the regular multi-attack combo. Speaking of which, dexterity saving throw as he goes in for the chain sweep.
No, let's see. Will I get a 2 again? Let's have a look. No. Okay. That is... That's a 17.
That actually succeeds.
Yes.
It'll only be half, but I rolled max damage on the dice. So 14 points of damage, half to 7 for saving, half to 3 for resistance.
Got to be faster, I'm learning.
And then he's going to go reckless to get his advantage in on the fists. The first one is a 24.
Mm-hmm. The odds gonna hit.
And the second one is an 18.
That also hits.
So the first strike, 9 points of bludgeoning damage, halved to 4. And then
Okie dokie.
10 points, halved to 5.
Yeah, it looked like the more blood bleed, I suppose, and the more beaten up both of them are getting, he's having a lot of fun. But like his body's starting to tremor a bit more than it normally does, even in hybrid form.
Alright,
let's see how fast you move. And we're going to use the Wave Rider glaive.
Alright.
So it forms like a line 5 feet wide that extends out from me to the target. And
Alright.
so each creature in the line must make a saving throw. I'm going to assume he's just going to avoid, like he's just fighting this guy, so he's going to avoid everyone else.
Yeah.
It's still a dexterity 15 saving throw though.
Yeah. That is a 16. Even with his poor dex,
That's all right. So you'll take
enough.
half damage.
Yeah.
So it's 4d6 lightning damage, and that was 20 points.
Okay, so halved to 10 for the save.
Yes. Yeah. So it rolled quite well, but like it's still gonna be a 10 though. And that sort of just crackles and glimmers out, and then sort of like returns back into his glaive. And I'm now attack. So second attack, just a regular one though, because it goes.
Yes.
I use the lightning.
Yes.
Cool. So it's 11. So with 19 to hit. And it's just a regular D10 plus 5. Oh my god, okay. So that's a 6. So
6.
half to 3. 'Cause
Oh.
it's just regular damage again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright. Oh, I'll roll my d6. See if I get the chain smash back. Nope. So chain sweep.
Too bad.
Dexterity saving throw, please.
14.
14 is the DC exactly, so you remain
Yes.
standing. And so Rod's gonna... you do take the half damage. 4 for saving, half to 2 for resistance. Then two punches. So the first one is a 19 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And the second one is 14 to hit, which will miss,
Second
I
one
believe.
doesn't hit. Yeah, that
All
misses.
right. So that's 12, half to 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alrighty. Yeah, we're that's a lot of blood here.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more pleased.
The two of you are both getting down to the wire here.
So Janice is again gonna spit out more blood, but it's just slaking down his mouth at this point because he's been biting him anyway. And then he's going to again do the weight distribution shift, and as he does that, shift his footing to surge forward again, and another bite, I think. Oh my goodness, I whiffed these rolls. That's only a 12, so I don't think that hits.
No.
That's alright, he'll try and bite again. That's better, that's like a natural 19, so
Okay.
that one will hit.
Yes.
So 12 total.
12 total, half to 6. Okay. He's still standing. But very, very shaky. Chain sweep.
That just rolls his face as he swings into his chain. That's a 13.
He started kind of getting into the swing of his sweeps, but he's starting to get a bit cocky now with it and mistime it just that little bit. So that's 14 points of bludgeoning damage, halved to 7. And then 2 fist attacks with advantage.
Yep.
Let's see.
There we go.
Yeah, the first one's like a 13 on the dice, plus an 8. That's gonna
that
hit.
hits.
And then the second one is a 15, which just
Meets it. Yeah, it meets it.
yeah. Alright, so I could roll incredibly poorly on the damage here.
True, you could.
I didn't. I rolled kind of average. But this is going to be more narratively satisfying, though. First punch does 10 halved to 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh.
And
Yup.
then with the final hit, I know whatever I roll, you're going to be out like a light. But
that's guaranteed.
let's see.
I am
for the
on
fun
one
of it.
digit. One point.
That is 11 half to 5.
Yep.
As you are out cold. And everything is black for 1, 2, 3. Before you are brought back to consciousness. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 grasping your hand. You are still technically charmed, but 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is going to willingly drop it and simply say, so you're brought back to, he heals you for 4 hit points, which is literally the lowest he can heal you for. And as he brings you back to consciousness, he says to you, let's see if that reminds you who you really are. He knows he has taken your glaive, and he and the other Sin Seekers walk off, returning to the depths of the ship, leaving
just
you
kind of
beaten and bloodied.
Just lies there and there's like full of his own blood, just completely beaten, and then just lies there and just stares at the ceiling. Fuck.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
What is going on here?
Oh, goodness me.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh my god. What other dice do I need for this little dude?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, well, like, what do I need lots of? I can't remember.
You're a paladin, D8s.
I know,
always
you think I'm
D8.
able to remember because it's the same character, but you know, it's the same class.
And also, like, what spells do you favor as Rue compared to Birdie?
Punch. Healing. I'm a healer.
Yeah. Which, again, is a
I'm
lot
a
of D8s.
doctor.
I thought you were
Dr.
talking about
Ruka.
Tibble for a second, and I'm like, Darby Tibble's not a paladin.
No. Tibble
I
is like...
don't know how to break this to you.
Tibble, I think, is a lot of
Tibble
D8s.
Clover
and
is
it's like
not a paladin.
D8s and D10s, and honestly, not a lot of them.
Not a lot of anything, which is
No.
honestly refreshing.
Fighters,
It's delightful.
you can generally just get away with, like, a basic 7-piece set.
Why have I not
with,
done
like,
this before?
An extra D20 for advantage.
You're out here with your wizards and your half-casters and shit, and I'm just here like, the sewing sword.
Yeah, wizards use a lot of d20s.